Just like in the days of Noah, people filled their lives with noise, laughter, and endless pleasure. The cities glowed with feasts and entertainment, but the light was only a disguise. Beneath it was darkness. The hearts of men had turned cold, no longer moved by the voice of God. Sin was no longer hidden, it was celebrated. Violence was entertainment, and corruption had become a way of life. The warning of judgment sounded faintly in the distance, yet no one cared to listen. Just as it was then, so it is now. The world dances on the edge of destruction, blind to how close the storm truly is. Jesus said, as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. Matthew 24:37. Friends, the ordinary comfort of life can blind us. Just as in Noah's day, people were eating, drinking, marrying, and pursuing daily pleasures, yet only a few were attentive to God's warning. Only Noah walked faithfully. Today, God's call is the same. Wake up before it is too late. Ellen G. White emphasizes the people of the antediluvian world had a form of godliness, but they denied the power thereof. They were living only to gratify selfish desires. Their hearts were hardened, and the Spirit of God could no longer strive with them. Patriarchs and Prophets, page 95. The state of the world in Noah's days, as written in Genesis 6, begins by describing the increase of human depravity. People multiplied, and so did their wickedness. Violence, corruption, and sin were everywhere. Amplified Bible says in Genesis 6:5-11, the Lord saw that the wickedness, depravity of man was great on the earth, and that every imagination or intent of the thoughts of his heart were only evil continually. The population of the earth was corrupt, absolutely depraved, spiritually and morally putrid in God's sight, and the land was filled with violence, desecration, infringement, outrage, assault, and lust for power. Here is the expanded explanation according to the Amplified Bible. The Bible says the earth was corrupt before God. The word corrupt comes from the Hebrew term shachath, meaning to ruin, spoil, or destroy. Humanity had decayed morally and spiritually. People were no longer guided by God's principles. The phrase before God indicates that this corruption was open and visible in the sight of heaven. It was not hidden. People sinned boldly without guilt or shame. The verse continues, the earth was filled with violence. The term violence here goes beyond physical harm. It includes oppression, cruelty, injustice, exploitation, and the lust for domination. Society was ruled by the law of the strongest, and compassion had vanished from human hearts. The Amplified Bible further emphasizes that the world had become spiritually and morally putrid. Mankind was rotten to the core, spiritually decayed and far from the character of God. People had lost the divine image within and replaced it with selfish desires, immorality, and pride. Noah's experience reflects the very condition we are living in today across all parts of the world. This moral decay is global. There is no nation that can claim to be better. Whether in Africa, Europe, North America, South America, or Asia, the entire world is engaging in things that humanity in ancient times never dared to do. Because wickedness has now covered the entire world, God will deal with the whole world. In the days of Lot, the Lord destroyed only the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, for the surrounding regions were still relatively safe. But in our time, sin and corruption have reached every corner of the earth, and therefore the Lord will bring judgment upon the entire world.